WuSA, wake up South Africa. WuSA, wake up South Africa. You've been sleeping far too long. Wake up South Africa. Now come along and sing this song. Wake up South Africa.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we welcome everyone to this program of Gaura Purnima. I'll be reading from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is Adi Lila, chapter 13, the advent of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, I will read a few verses and just speak some few words. So in this part is when the Lord appeared. So we will hear from Krishnadas Kaviraj. Okay. So beginning with text number 80 of the 13th chapter. Chodasate chaya shaki sheshamagamashi Jagannatha Shuchiradihi Krishna Praveshe. Translation. In the month of January in the year 406 of the Shaka era, AD 1485, Lord Krishna entered the body of both Jagannath Mishra and Sachi. Text number 81, Jagannath Mishra said to Sachi, I see wonderful things. Your body is effulgent, and it appears as if the goddess of fortune were now staying personally in my home. Text number 82, anywhere and everywhere I go, all people offer me respect. Even without my asking, they voluntarily give me riches, clothing, and pay. Text number 83, such a mother told her husband, I see wonderfully brilliant human beings appearing in outer space as if offering prayers. Text number 84, Jagannath Mishra then replied, in a dream I saw the effulgent abode of the Lord enter my heart. Text number 85, from my heart it entered your heart. I therefore understand that a great personality will soon take birth. Text number 86. After this conversation, both husband and wife were very jubilant, and together they rendered service to the house of Shalagram Shila. Text number 87. In this way, the pregnancy approached its 13th month, but still, there was no sign of delivery of child. Thus, Jagannath Mishra became greatly apprehensive. Text number 88. Nilambara Chakravarti, the grandfather of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, then did an astrological calculation and said that in that very month, taking advantage of an auspicious moment, the child would take birth. Text number 89. Thus in the year 1407 of the Shaka era, AD 1486, in the month of Falguna, February, March, in the evening of the full moon day, the desired auspicious moment arrived. Text number 90, according to Jyotir Veda or Vedic astrology, the auspicious birth moment is described as follows. The moon was in Leo, the figure of the lion in the zodiac. Leo was the ascendant. Several planets were strongly positioned, and the Sat-Varga and Ashta-Varga show all auspicious influences. When the spotless moon of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became visible, what would be the need for a moon full of black marks on its body? Considering this, Rahu, the black planet, covered the full moon, and immediately vibrations of Krishna, Krishna, Hari inundated the three worlds. Text number 93, all people thus chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra during the lunar eclipse, and their minds were struck with wonder. 95, 94, when the whole world was thus chanting the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in the form of Gaura Hari, advented himself on the earth. Text number 95, the whole world was pleased while the Hindus chanted the holy name of the Lord. The non-Hindus, especially the Muslims, jokingly imitated the words. While the ladies vibrated the holy name of Hari on the earth, in the heavenly planets, dancing and music were going on, for the demigods were very curious. Text number 97. In this atmosphere, all the 10 directions became jubilant, as did waves of the rivers. Moreover, all beings, moving and non-moving, were overwhelmed with transcendental bliss. Text number 98. Thus, by his costless mercy, the full moon Gaura Hari rose in the district of Nadia, which is compared to Udayagiri, where the sun first becomes visible. His rising in the sky dissipated the darkness of sinful life, and thus the three worlds became joyful and chanted the holy name of the Lord. At that time, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu in his own house, Shantipur, was dancing in a pleasing mood. Taking Haridas Thakur with him, he danced loudly, chanted Hare Krishna, but why they were dancing, no one could understand. Text 100. Seeing the lunar eclipse and laughing, Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur immediately went to the bank of the Ganges and bathed in the river with great jubilation. Taking advantage of the occasion of the lunar eclipse, Advaita Acharya, by his mental strength, distributed various types of charity to the Brahmanas. When he saw that the whole world was jubilant, Haridas Thakur, his mind astonished, directly and indirectly expressed himself to Advaita Acharya. Your dancing and distributing charity are very pleasing to me. I can understand that there is some special purpose in these actions. Chararatna, Chandrasekhar, and Shiva's Thakur were overwhelmed with joy, and immediately they went to the bank of the Ganges to bathe in her waters. Their minds full of happiness, they chanted Hare Krishna mantra and gave charity by mental strength. In this way, all the devotees, wherever they were situated in every city and every country, danced, performed sankirtan, and gave charity by mental strength on the plea of the lunar eclipse, their minds overwhelmed with joy. All sorts of respectable brahmanas, gentlemen and ladies, carrying plates filled with various gifts, came with their presentations, saying the newborn child whose form resembled natural glaring gold. All of them happily offered their blessings. Dressing themselves as the wives of the Brahmanas, all the celestial ladies, including the wives of Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Lord Nishinadev, King Indra, and Vasishta Rishi, along with Ramba and a dancing girl of heaven, came there with varieties of gifts. Purport. When Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was a newborn baby, he was visited by the neighboring ladies, most of whom the wives of respectable Brahmanas, in the dress of Brahmanas, wives of celestial ladies like the wives of Brahma and Lord Shiva also came to see the newborn child. Ordinary people saw them as respectable Brahmana ladies of the neighborhood. But actually, they were all celestial ladies dressed in that way. Hare Krishna. Jai Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita is like an ocean. We cannot really end because Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes are like Ananda Modi, endless ocean of bliss. So here we don't want to keep you until the next day in this room. So I was listening to Sabasaichi online, who was talking about how Mahaprabhu is different incarnation. Why? Because he appeared as a devotee. And you remember that he was talking to you. I just happened to steal in. Yes. His speciality is that even though he is an incarnation of Krishna, but he appears as a devotee. So there's a reason for that. So according to different acharyas, there are several reasons why Mahaprabhu appeared. One of the reasons is that the reason why he came as a devotee, he wanted to feel and experience the nectar that devotees are relishing in his devotional service as Krishna. So in order to understand the devotion of the devotees, he had to come as a devotee. So the devotee that Mahaprabhu took a garb of is Srimati Radharani. That's why we call him Gaura Hari. Actually, the original Gaura is Srimati Radharani. So when he appeared in that form, molten gold form of Radharani, so he was called Gaura Hari. because Lord Hari appeared in a golden form. But the reason was to experience the mellows of bhakti that devotees are relishing. Yeah, that's another reason. Another reason was that the Lord was petitioned by Advaita Acharya. When Advaita Acharya saw the situation of Kali Yuga, how people were immersed in materialistic activities, how they were moving away from Krishna Bhakti, he felt sorry for them. He took pity on them and he began worshipping the Lord, appealing to him for his appearance. That's another reason. That's why he was jubilant when he saw some signs. He began to give charity when the Lord appeared. He was very happy. He felt happy. Actually, this happiness was just spontaneous. Sometimes we feel that. It's like I was doing this intensive postgraduate course. It was so intense. I was just counting the days. And then when we finished our final exams on, I think on the, no, that was, I think on the 9th. That was, and the students know that. And, you know, so sometimes we have these experiences. So when Mahaprabhu appeared, even the wife with demigods, they felt, what a relief. They also wanted to join in at the ceremony of the Lord's birthday. They came in the garb of Brahman's wife, etc. So when Mahaprabhu came, people throughout the globe felt that relief, as if you just finished an intense, period of examination. Why? Because his Prema Amara Karo Priya is the original tree of love of God. This is one of the reasons why he came to give Krishna Prema. Therefore, we found this beautiful statement in the Adi Lila, it's chapter 10, text number 7, by Krishnadas Kagula. It says, Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prema Amara Karapriya Bhakta Sarka Kanam Krishna Prema Phala Pradan. He says that I offer my respectful obeisances to the devotees of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Mahaprabhu, who is the original tree of love of God. I also offer my respect to those devotees who are the branches, like all of you are branches of Mahaprabhu. What are these branches doing? He says they are distributing the love of Krishna. Krishna Prema Phala Pradan. So very beautiful. And Prabhupada, in the purport to that verse, he makes a very, very, very interesting statement. He says that this is a way we should appreciate devotees. He says within the movement of Mahaprabhu, there are some people who are envious, who are selective, that this devotee comes from this background or that background, so he doesn't deserve that, does not deserve that respect. He says Krishnadas Kaviraj is giving an example. He's measuring this idea of discriminating between the devotees of Mahaprabhu. And he gave an example that some people are not happy that it's called Prabhupada. He said, but they are not looking at what I'm doing. I'm spreading the mission of Mahaprabhu all over the world. That's an amazing thing that one can do, but they are just unhappy that My disciples have given me this title, Prabhupada. This is the sign of endlessness. Yeah, yes. So in that way, Krishnadas Kaviraj says, he's offering his obeisances to all the branches of this original tree, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are distributing the love of Krishna. Of course, this love of Krishna will come in the form of the holy name. Within the holy name, they are all potencies of the Supreme Personality of God. And we want to elaborate on that. Yes, how? If you read Shikshastakam, it explains how by chanting the holy name you can attain Brahma. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Prabhupada used to say that if you want to be a good devotee, you should study and follow the examples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why? Because the teachings of Mahaprabhu are based on three principles. One is Harinam Ruchi, the chanting of the holy name. Number two is Vaishnava serving, serving the devotees. Number three is Jiva, to develop compassion for the living entities, for the fallen souls. Otherwise, if we don't have compassion, where's the question of giving mercy? So we see that Mahaprabhu, by his personal example, he followed these three principles. The holy name, chanting the holy name and distribution of the holy name. And he was very compassionate to the fallen souls, like so many Jivas that met him. They were benefited in so many ways. And Vaishnava Seva, Mahaprabhu used to get a lot of prasadam and feed his devotees up to the neck. He enjoyed doing that. Yes. So by serving devotees, Mahaprabhu used to experience peace. That will rid us of our envy, and then will help us to develop this love. Because love is explained by Bhakti Thakur. And of course, there are different forms of love, but the love that we are talking about in spiritual context is a verse in the Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 9, text number 31. There, the Lord is instructing Lord Brahma. He says, Jnana Parama Guyame Yad Vijnana Samantitaha Sharahasam Tad Amba Shah Virana Kaditam Maya. That, oh Brahma, knowledge about me as it is revealed in the scriptures is very confidential, but it can be understood in conjunction with devotion. Therefore, you may take up to this process very carefully. The paraphernalia for understanding that knowledge is given by me. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his commentary, Bhagavatam commentary, which is very small, called Krishna Samhita. There he elaborates on these verses. He explains that when we talk about bhakti or with devotion, we are referring to the, the science of love. Or we are referring to the activities of the living entity and the activities of the Lord that can be said to be the science of love. So what is this science of love? It refers to the feelings, the emotions of caring for Krishna. Yes. So when you care for someone, without any expectations, sometimes people they put some server, they expect something. It's like a bank. I'm banking, I will throw. So Mahaprabhu's love for the devotees is not like that. It's just unmotivated love. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur elaborates on this statement very, very, very nice. So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give when we talk about the love, the prema, Krishna prema. Mahaprabhu, he displayed this loving spirit in many, many, many past times. Just like Mahaprabhu, once he was feeling this ecstasy. Sometimes he will mistake the ocean to be the river Jamuna. And then the sand dunes along the bank of the ocean, along the beach, he will think that they are Govardhan. So then he will go into ecstasy. He say, he will become like unconscious of the external happenings. So one day, when he was in this ecstasy, he just went straight to the Jamuna, thinking that, to the ocean, thinking that he's catching the waves of the Jamuna. And then lost in himself, he got carried by the waves all night long. And the next morning, he ended up in the net of the fisherman, who was fortunately fishing at the right place. Yes, suddenly he felt a big fish had entered my net. I've been waiting all night long. Oh, John, this is great. Then he started pulling. This fish was coming slowly and slowly. He kept on pushing, hopefully, expecting a very gigantic fish. And then when he was releasing this fish from his net, when he touched it, oh, it's not a fish. It feels like a human being. And then he looked closer to him. It's a human being. Oh, become afraid. I've been fishing, but I'm fishing, I pushed the dead body. And then he dropped the net, he started feeling his hair standing on him. He started chanting, Hari, 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 like a man. He thought, whoa, I've touched the dead body, and the ghost in this dead body has what that means? What will happen to my wife and children? Oh my God. Oh, I've been wanted by this ghost. He started running. He just left everything there. He was just running, going to look for the help. So while at the same time, the devotees of Mahaprabhu, headed by Swarup Damodar, they were looking around, just trying to find the Lord. So they saw this fisherman who was just in, off his head, chanting, Hari, Hari. He said, fisherman, is anything wrong with you? He said, no, I'm okay. I'm just haunted by a ghost. I was fishing there, and then some ghost somehow. He said, oh, you saw a ghost. How did it look like? And he was describing. This ghost has a long body. It's like this, and they could tell, oh, this was Mahaprabhu. They said, oh, hey, fisherman. So I said, come here. I'm a greatest ghost buster here. I will help you. And he slapped him 2 times. Whack, whack. Having some money. Now don't worry, the ghost is gone. So tell us. So where actually the person that you saw and mistook for a ghost was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, but I saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before. That body doesn't look like him, just not because he has been carried by the waves and his body is bleached. That's why his color is looking different. So take us there. And then the fishermen took them to the spot where he left the body of the Lord in the net. So then they removed the Lord from the net, and then they cleansed him. They removed the sand, and they chanted very loudly, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then the Lord came back to external consciousness, and everyone was happy, and they took him back to his place. So that's how Mahaprabhu distributed this Krishna prayer. Maybe into the low-class fisherman who was busy catching the fish, multiplying his karma. Suddenly he got Mahaprabhu. So how merciful one can be as to arrange to be called by this fisherman. And then another point is that Mahaprabhu, when he appeared, he changed the face of India in 4 ways. One way is that he defeated all the great scholars of his time. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Prakashananda, Saraswati, defeated Kesha Prakashmir, and many scholars. Why? Because he wanted to establish the absolute truth with his highest understanding, so that he can break the shackles of impersonalism and other forms which move people away from Bhakti. Number 2, Mahaprabhu changed the face of India by challenging the Hindu caste system. According to the Hindu caste system, people who were lower caste, they were not supposed to become devotees like us. We are chanting Hare Krishna very happy. So we are not supposed to chant Hare We're supposed to be scrubbing the roads there somewhere. If you contaminated or something. Don't worship it. Don't. You stay there in the ghetto. So Mahaprabhu, he changed that by challenging these ideas of discrimination. How did he do that? He said, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya. Who am I? Gopi Bhattu Kamalayo, Dasha Anidas. I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of the master of the gopis. Yes, Krishna Bhagavan. And then he exemplified that he didn't just preach, but he practiced that by accepting devotees like Haridas Thakur, who was born to a Muslim family, Sri Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das, Sri Sanatana Goswami, and made them acharyas. Yes. And then number 3, what did I say? Then he defeated scholars, defeated the Hindu caste, challenged the Hindu caste system. Number 3, he organized a civil disobedience to the ruling class of his time, like Chankas, who is saying, no Harinam, no chanting of Hare Krishna. Just listen to us. If you want to hear something, come to the mosque. So he when he took devotees, he instructed his devotees to go street to street. He himself, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, sing this nice song, Gai Gaura Madhusari. Lord Chaitanya, in a very sweet voice, he went out on the street. He was singing out, like singing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Girhe tako, vane tako, Shadahari Guru Nako Gai Madhu Swami. Whether a Kriyasta, whether a sannyas or vanapas, in whichever condition you are in, just fill your lips with the sweet holy name. Yes. So that's what Mahaprabhu. He was a revolutionist. He was a revolutionary. So he said everyone can chant the holy name. Not certain people belong to certain class. So he displayed that by his own examples. So that's the third way by which he changed India, by disobeying the authorities of his time. And then when they heard that he was sending devotees to chant Harinam, they sent the cops to break the Madhanas, to stop the Harinam. Mahaprabhu, when he heard that these devotees were stopped, he said, okay, let's organize more people. Let's go to the governor himself, Chankazi, at night. They smashed the garden full of bananas, they smashed everything. Chankar has to run upstairs when he saw Gaura coming with his army, the Sangitan army. And they didn't go, they waited there until he came down. And then they had a discussion, Mahaprabhu defeated him. And then Chankazi apologized, and he made a promise that nobody in the future from the generations of my children and grandchildren will obstruct the Harinam Sankirtan. Harinam Sankirtan, yes. So this is Mahaprabhu's mission. He was an activity. He was a missionary field personality. So after that, the Harinam went all over unobstructed. And the fourth way Mahaprabhu changed India was that he inaugurated this Sankirtan movement, which due to its universal appeals, now is engulfing the entire globe, from Russia to America, to South America, to Africa, to Asia. People are chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So in that way, these are four ways Mahaprabhu changed the face of India. Actually, he changed the world by giving the entire globe this Harinam Sankirtan. So Mahaprabhu also, he's the founder of what is called Achinta Beda philosophy, oneness and difference. For years, people were debating whether Brahman is superior to Bhagavan, or this or that, vice versa. So Mahaprabhu studied all the scriptures, and then he established his philosophy, Achinta Beda Tattva, oneness and difference. For example, Bhagavatam, one of the seed verses in Bhagavatam, in chapter 2, second canto, chapter 9, the seed verses begin with what? It's 30, 30, 33, 34, 35, 33, 34, 35, 36. So these are seed verses. Beginning what? 33, 34, 35, 36. Nine chapter of the second canto. So the first verse says, Aham eva sham eva bre nanyat yat sat param paschat aham yetat cha yu avashita. That in the beginning it was I, the personality of Godhead, who existed. Whatever you see now in the form of this cosmic manifestation is still I, personality of Godhead. And what will remain in the end at the time of dissolution, it will be still I. And then the next verse says, Yata Mahanta Bhutani Viteshu Chavasheshvanu Pravistani Pravistani Data Teshu. That just like material elements are within everything, yet at the same time are outside of it. And then the next verse will say, Rite Akam Yat Pratyeka Yat That Vidyat Atmanamaya Yat Vasavika. That anything that appears to you to be of any value, if that is seen not in relation to me, the perspective, but you should understand it to be that energy appears to be darkness, Maya. Yes. So in that way, scholars have been debating this point for years and years, and Mahaprabhu, when he came, he put everything together. And then that, yes, there's oneness, but there's difference. Just like the material elements are there in their original form, but they are also in other forms, like in our bodies. Yes. So Mahaprabhu, he compressed all these points into this philosophy, yes, that's another contribution of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, there are so many other contributions of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. One of them is that before, people used to worship Krishna alone, Govinda. And then the worship of Radha Krishna began with Madhavendra Puri, but Mahaprabhu is the person that took it out and kind of distributed it to the whole world, the worship of Radha and Krishna. And he did so through his different branches like Rupa Goswami. When you read books like Vidagha Madhava, Lalita Madhava, those books were written, they are like dramas, but were written under the guidance of Mahaprabhu. He instructed Rupa Goswami to write those books. Of course, Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. So therefore, Rupa Goswami is known as Rasa Acharya. But actually, it was a manifestation of Mahaprabhu's potency through Rupa Goswami to give us this aspect of worship of Radha Krishna and Krishna consciousness. So in that way, Mahaprabhu, in terms of Bhakti cult, the culture of devotion, he contributed the most because he gave the highest the worship of Radha and Krishna. So these, I thought these are a few points that I could share with you. Of course, Mahaprabhu is unlimited, just as his teachings are unlimited. So I would like to stop here and see if you have any questions.
There's a question on it. Thank you so much for the class and for gracing us today, Maharaj. Sometimes people express concern about Mahaprabhu, that he was a young man, he had a young wife, and he had an elderly mother.
Yes.
And then he took the renounce order and gave pain to the young wife and the mother. And he shouldn't have done that.
Yes.
So how do we explain to them? Or try to defend Mahaprabhu, understand his reasons why he did that?
Yes, it's very difficult to understand the pastimes of the Lord. Therefore, in the seventh canto, when you study Bhaktivedanta course, there's a word that is used, Duranta Shakti, which means that the Lord, it's not easy to understand him. It's not easy to understand his pastimes as well as his energies. So all the pastimes of the Lord are like a drama on stage. Like when you see the movie, someone shot, is dead, and then you feel sorry for such a person. Yeah, you feel sorry for such a person. You know, they are burning him, and they shot him. Poor guy. But actually, it's just drama. So all these lilas of Mahaprabhu, him, leaving home, it's just part of this drama. But actually, he never leaves. He is eternally in Navadvip. But when he takes sannyas and goes to Puri, this is just his pastime. But he's always in with his mother. For example, he told his mother when he left, you cook, I'll come and eat. So the mother went home because she was cooking everything. Mahaprabhu will come and eat, but not sing. Yes. He left, but actually he didn't leave. He was always in Navadvip, in his subtle form, unseen by people. So these are pastimes of the Lord to give bhakti to the entire world. Sometimes we don't understand. Just like a guru sometimes is in his vacuum. He's in his vacuum. Like when I was reciting these verses, the chapter spoke, I was remembering His Holiness Bhakti Jago, Swami, because he was our teacher. He's the one I read his course. He was teaching these 4 slokas. I memorized them since then. Yeah, when I was reciting them, I was thinking, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. But he's not here. But now I'm here with him through his Bani. He taught us these verses some years ago. So that's what is important. So Mahaprabhu, through his Bani, is living eternally in Navadvip. But in his Bapu manifested form, he may be there, he may not be. Like I gave example this morning of Krishna. Krishna is there in Vrindavan, but some people don't think that Krishna left. He's still there. What is the proof? There is a proof. Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan in the year 1515. At that time, there was one tree called, it's called Imla Dar. It's a tamarind tree. That tamarind tree had been there during the times of Krishna on the planet. So when Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan for the first time, the tree was there. So he sat under this tree, he felt some ecstasy. He just went into chant, but suddenly he felt this ecstatic emotions. And then Rupa Goswami, later on Mahaprabhu sent Rupa Goswami and others, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami to Vrindavan. And then Rupa Goswami also, when he came, became attracted to this tree. He thought, let me go and sit under the shade of this Imlidao, this tamarind tree. So while he was sitting there, enjoying his chanting, he noticed some people were coming from the distance. When he looked closer, he was surprised. These are the gopis, and there is Shamaswanga master. They came to this Imlidao, and then suddenly they kind of produced a swing. They did the swing pastimes. And after that, they went away, right in the eyes of the Swami. And then another proof that Krishna is still in Vrindavan is that there are so many pastimes. There was one poor boy called Dukhi Krishna Das. He was unhappy. They called him Dukhi. Dukhi means unhappy. He decided, I'm so miserable, I'm so unhappy, let me go to Vrindavan. So when he came to Vrindavan, at that time, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Lokanath Goswami, all the elder Goswamis had passed away. And then there was Jiva Goswami left. So he came and Jiva Goswami, he became a student of Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami gave him instructions that you go and clean your service will be to clean the kunjas of Raj. So this boy was having this service of cleaning the kunjas. The kunjas are the places where Radha Krishna performed pastimes at night. So one day while he was cleaning, he found a very valuable anklet studded with precious gems. He thought maybe some princess or a queen was here. What happened? He just dropped this thing and he kept it. And then after that, an old lady came and said, "Oh, Babaji, did you find any anklet here? My daughter-in-law lost her anklet here." He said, "Hey, Mataji, you are too poor to have a daughter who this expensive jewelry. It's not possible." Then Mataji was insisting, "Yes, my daughter-in-law lost her anklet." Saying, no. Dukhi Krishna said, "No, it's not possible. You ask that daughter-in-law to come here and see me." So then the next thing, the old lady came with her daughter-in-law. So suddenly, this daughter-in-law was none other than Srimati Radharani herself. The old lady was Lalita in a disguised form. They revealed themselves to be Lalita and Radharani. We were here. We are the ones that forgot the anklet. Radharani forgot her anklet. Oh, he was so surprised. Oh, yeah. He felt so happy. From Dukhi, he became Sukhi. He said, "I don't want to leave. I want to go with you. This is what I came to Vrindavan for, to have your darshan. You have given my darshan. I just want to remain in your association. My Pranasakshi, Radharani, please accept me as your servant. Don't leave me." So I told him, "No, we have a mission for you. That's why we created this drama. We have a preaching mission for you. But to console you, I'll give you the deity of Sham. I'll give you the deity of Krishna." And she manifested the deity and gave it to Dukhi and said, "Your name from today will be changed to Shamananda. You will become Shamananda. You don't Dukhi anymore." Can you imagine? That deity is still there. It passed by from Punjab. What do you call it? Punjab. The place still there. The place is still there. Except now Vrindavan is like coming back to city. Sevakund. It's called Sevakund. Yeah, that deity of Krishna is still there. So that way, when you go to Vrindavan, you go and take the darshan. So this same Shamananda, he is one of the acharyas that were sent by Jiva Goswami to distribute the books of the Goswami. So Shamananda, Narottam, and Srinivasacharya. So this is a proof that Radha Krishna are still in Raj, but not manifested for us, unless we are like this Duki Krishnadas. He was blessed by the best. We can only desire. But the mess is there. So that way, Mahaprabhu, in a similar way, he never left Navadvip. He's there. It's just that his pastimes took him to Jagannath Puri. For the fulfillment of his mission of preaching, he took sannyas. But actually, all these pastimes, leaders of taking sannyas, they are eternal. The Lord does not require to take sannyas. He does not need to take sannyas. But to teach people, because his students, when he was manifesting his bhakti, they were like criticizing him. Why are you chanting Krishna Krishna? Why are you chanting Gopi Gopi? You're supposed to teach us grammar. So and then he thought, no, let me take sannyas to liberate these fools. Yes. So because in those days they could not, insult the sannyas. Yes, so that's the reason Mahaprabhu took sannyas. It was just like a way to deliver those students and other people who were criticizing him for always chanting Krishna Krishna Radha Radha. Yes, they have become like cuckoo. Yes, so the Lord performed these wonderful pastimes for our benefit. It's not that He's trying to put everyone and somebody in miserable condition. No, it was a lila. He left Ormias, they cried. It was a lila, it's part of the lila. Yeah, because the mood of Krishna Prema is Vipralamba, love in separation. Yes. So the Mahaprabhu, we went on to Texas and to Puri to increase this prema in the mode of Vipralamba or love in separation. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. There is a question online from Bhakti Tabiseng.
Can you hear me?
She's asking.
Okay. I'll read it out, Mansa. I'll read it out. There's a question from Bhakti Tabiseng. Hare Krishna Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to you. Blessed Gaura Purnima. My question is, Mahaprabhu was a revolutionary and he tried by all means to ensure that Bhakti Krishna was spread under a repressed system. How can we have the same fire, same spirit when we approach our own spiritual lives, keeping the fire, sharing Krishna with others, etc.?
Thank you. That's a nice question. We can imbibe the fire, the revolutionary spirit or missionary spirit by associating with those devotees who are missionary spirited. I remember when I joined, there were some devotees in Johannesburg. They used to go to KZN, preach and come back. Then the time I was working, I used to come to the temple Sundays. They told me, why don't you give your job and join us in our mission? Yes, what mission? So then they told me what they were doing, what they wanted to do. These were American Europeans. That's where they were from England, but they joined in America. They were hippies. So, before that, when I first came to the temple on Sunday, because I was living in Rancontain, and then I went to Krugersdorp. I took a train because the card that was given to me was small. All the places seemed very close to each other, but they were far. So I got lost. And then I ended up in some farms, and then I was asking the boys there. They told me, oh, this place is still better more. And finally, I found the place. So the same devotees they asked me, how did you get here? I told them that you train, but no, don't do that. Next time if you want to come here, you call us. We'll come and pick you up. These are, they were Americans. They were British Americans. And then I went back to Rancontain. The next Sunday, I called the numbers that they gave me. They said, okay, just wait there. We'll come now to pick you. They drove all the way from Mauritius, past Coca-Cola, past Crocostop to Rancontain, picked me up to their temple late. They dropped me like I was a prince. I never saw Europeans, serving an African. I was thinking, yeah, this is amazing. So when they told me we have a mission in Africa, we want to preach to the Africans, we want to translate the book, I believe them. Yeah, they've already said it's a proof that they have a mission in Africa. So in that way, that's how I got this spirit, this missionary spirit, and from that, yeah, I was impressed. Yeah, they proved themselves to be missionaries in Africa by serving some poor African boy like me. Very nicely, they drove me and they took me back like I was like a prince. I felt like that. I was never served like that in this town. I was always given a shampoo. Here, these guys now, they're from Europe. They are taking me to my place. It's like I was so important. Yes, because it's about Vaishnavas and what we sell. In marketing, they say people don't buy products. They buy a person, how you treat them, how you make them feel about yourself and the product that you are selling. So if you want to be a missionary person, you should extend yourself to serving people. So nice that they will be impressed by this. Missionary means we are willing to extend ourselves and serve others and be for others instead of staying in our cocoons. So that's what impresses people. So that's the mission. If you want to be a missionary, stay with those people who are missionaries, who are willing to go out there and serve others. Yes, preaching is not about talking, it's about serving. It's about serving. Yes, anyone can talk, but the real talking is when we really do something, when we serve people. That's what impressed me with these missionaries. When they told me they were missionaries, I believed them. Yes. Otherwise, how could these people? Yeah, they are English people. I'm just an African boy, how can they serve me so? And I said, they are serious. What they were saying, I believe what they said. So that we can become missionaries.